In the silence of the laboratory and the quiet of the night, we often find ourselves circling back to the same fundamental question. What is the nature of the I that is asking the question? As we push further into the labyrinth of the human brain, we realize that initial chapters of a script or years of a PhD are barely enough to scratch the surface of our neural reality. To truly expand our understanding, we must look at the concept of the global workspace theory. Imagine your consciousness as a spotlight in a darkened theater. The theater is your subconscious, a massive, sprawling archive of every face you've ever seen, every scent you've ever smelled, and every instinctual drive inherited from your ancestors. The spotlight, however, can only illuminate one small patch at a time. This is the bottleneck of human attention. But why does this bottleneck exist? If we have 86 billion neurons, why can't we consciously process 86 billion streams of information? The answer lies in the thermodynamics of thought. Your brain is a metabolic furnace. While it represents only 2% of your body weight, it consumes 20% of your total oxygen and glucose. To process everything at once would result in a thermal overload, a literal biological meltdown. Thus, the mystery of our limited focus is actually a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering. We are designed to be selective because selectivity is the key to survival. But let us venture deeper into the quantum metaphors of the mind. In classical physics, an object is either here or there. But in the quantum world, particles exist in a state of probability until they are observed. Some theoretical physicists, such as Roger Penrose, have collaborated with anesthesiologists like Stuart Hameroff to suggest that the brain might operate on a similar principle. They propose the OR theory, suggesting that consciousness originates from quantum vibrations in microtubules protein structures inside the brain's neurons. If this is true, it means your thoughts are not just localized chemical reactions, but are connected to the very fabric of space-time. This would mean that every time you make a decision, you're collapsing a wave function of infinite possibilities into a single reality. This isn't just science fiction. It is a serious, albeit controversial, attempt to solve the hard problem. It suggests that the mind spark we feel isn't just a spark of electricity, but a spark of the cosmos itself. When you feel stuck in life, perhaps you are simply focusing on a single low-energy probability. By shifting your perception, by utilizing the power of neuroplasticity, you are literally choosing a different quantum path for your neural network to follow. Consider the phenomenon of time perception. Have you ever noticed how time seems to slow down? During a car accident or a moment of extreme fear. This is not a glitch in the universe. It is your brain's overclocking mode. When the amygdala detects a life-threatening threat, it forces the brain to record memories with a much higher density than usual. Because you have more data points for those few seconds, your conscious mind perceives the event as lasting much longer. This proves that time, as we experience it, is entirely subjective, a construction of the brain designed to help us navigate danger. We are living in a biological time machine. Furthermore, let's look at the social brain hypothesis. Why did our brains grow so large compared to our primate cousins? It wasn't just to build tools. It was to navigate the complex social webs of human tribes. Our brains are wired for connection. When you feel the pain of social rejection, the same areas of the brain light up as when you experience physical pain, the anterior cingulate cortex. This is because, for our ancestors, being cast out of the tribe was a death sentence. Your brain treats a broken heart with the same level of biological urgency as a broken leg. Understanding this can change how we approach psychology. We are not dramatic beings. We are deeply social organisms whose survival depends on the signals we send to one another. The twist in our story today is that our greatest weaknesses are often our greatest neurological shields. Take, for example, the concept of forgetting. We often view a poor memory as a failure. However, if you remembered every single detail of every single day, the color of every car you passed, the texture of every blade of grass, your brain would be so cluttered with noise that you wouldn't be able to make a single decision. Forgetting is an active, energy-consuming process. Your brain is constantly pruning away the irrelevant to keep the essential. In this sense, your forgetfulness is actually a sign of a highly efficient filtering system. It is your brain saying, I am protecting your focus. Similarly, the brain fog you feel during periods of high stress is often the brain's way of forcing a system restart. It is reducing the energy to the prefrontal cortex to prevent long-term burnout. You aren't losing your mind. Your mind is trying to save itself. As we approach the final threshold of this explanation, we must acknowledge the uncertainty principle of the self. The more we try to define exactly what a soul or consciousness is using physical instruments, the more it seems to slip through our fingers. We can measure the voltage of a neuron, but we cannot measure the beauty of a sunset inside the mind of the observer. This is why the mystery refuses to be solved, because the observer cannot be separated from the observation. We are the explorers in the territory at the same time. To truly dive into the depths of this inquiry, we must analyze the default mode network, or DMN. This is the part of your brain that is active when you are doing absolutely nothing. When you are daydreaming, ruminating, or thinking about the future. It is the theater of the self. Interestingly, science shows that overactivity in the DMN is linked to depression and anxiety, while activities like deep meditation or flow states dampen the DMN. In those moments of flow, this self disappears. You become the music you are playing, the code you are writing, or the mountain you are climbing. This is the ultimate neuropsychological paradox. We spend our whole lives trying to build a self, yet our happiest moments occur when that self is deactivated. This leads us to the concept of entropy in the brain. A healthy brain exists in a state of critical instability, balanced perfectly between order and chaos. Too much order, and you have a brain that is rigid, incapable of learning, or even prone to seizures. Too much chaos, and you lose the ability to maintain a coherent narrative of reality. Your consciousness is the surfer riding the wave of this entropy. This is why a scientific mystery that refuses to be solved is so compelling, because the answer isn't a static point, but a constant, vibrating movement between different states of being. We must also consider the gut-brain axis, the secondary nervous system in your enteric tract. Your gut contains hundreds of millions of neurons, leading many scientists to call it the second brain. The chemicals produced by your gut bacteria, such as serotonin and dopamine, communicate directly with your cranial brain via the vagus nerve. This means your thoughts are not just products of your head, but are influenced by the very biology of your digestion and the microbiome within you. You are an ecosystem, not just an individual. When we talk about quantum thinking, we are looking at how these multi-layered systems interact to create the illusion of a single, unified experience. How does the second brain in your gut agree with the first brain in your head? How does the quantum vibration of a microtubule translate into the decision to buy a cup of coffee? The mystery remains unsolved, because we are trying to use a tool, the brain, to explain the very tool we are using. It is like trying to describe the color of your own eyes without a mirror. But as we gaze into the mirror of science, we see reflections of a truth that is both humbling and empowering. We see that we are not victims of our biology, but architects of it. Through epigenetic changes, we can turn genes on or off, based on our environment and our choices. Through neurogenesis, we can grow new neurons in the hippocampus throughout our lives. We are the only known entity in the universe that can consciously change its own hardware. This is the mind spark. The realization that your current state of being is just one possible configuration of an almost infinite energy network. Every deep breath you take, every new concept you grasp, and every habit you break is a revolutionary act of biological defiance. We are not just biological machines. We are the ghost in the machine, the signal in the noise, the consciousness in the cosmos. The mystery refuses to be solved because it is alive. It is growing, it is you. As we reach the conclusion of this extensive exploration, remember that science is not a collection of facts, but a way of wondering. The goal of MindSpark Science is to keep that wonder alive. To remind you that even in a world of data and algorithms, the human spirit is the ultimate variable. We have journeyed through the microscopic world of synapses and the theoretical world of quantum physics, only to find that the destination is the same. The awe-inspiring reality of your own existence. If you have journeyed with us this far, you are a true seeker of knowledge. Your presence here is what makes this intellectual community possible. We invite you to carry this spark into your daily life, to look at your challenges not as obstacles, but as neural opportunities, and to view your fellow humans as complex, beautiful energy networks. If this deep dive into the unsolved mystery of the mind has resonated with you, if it has provided even a single wow moment, please support the channel. Like this video to help the algorithm find other curious minds, and subscribe to MindSpark Science to be part of our ongoing mission to decode the universe. Hit the bell icon to ensure you're always alerted when we drop a new exploration. We want to know, what part of this journey surprised you the most? Do you believe consciousness is purely biological, or is there a quantum component we haven't mastered yet? Let us know in the comments below. Your feedback drives our research. Thank you for watching, for thinking, and for being the most complex mystery in the universe. Stay curious, stay brilliant, and keep seeking the spark. This is MindSpark Science, and we will see you in the next deep dive. Subscribe now and join the spark.